Ah, shit. How's it going, losers? And today is the inaugural episode of Ask Uncle Tino, where I'm going to answer the questions that you didn't ask, but somebody else did. I put the question box on my Instagram the other day and asked you guys to ask me questions, and as suspected, there was pretty much no questions about training. It was all just carnage, but I'm going to answer them anyway because I always deliver. There's a saying about ripping off a plaster to get through the pain quicker. I don't know the saying, but there's something like that, so I'm just going to get right into it. And the first question, favourite porn category? And I can't believe this has been asked because it's not like I ever make any sexual or porn references in any of my content, but if I was to pick a favourite porn category, anything that has big milkers in them. Next question is not really a question, but more of a statement. I can't with your post captions, they kill me off. Thank you, I suppose, or sorry to hear about your death. Next question, an actual training question. Is there any exercises in the gym you would stay away from altogether? Something that you sort of come to realise over time through coaching is that the question sort of changes from what's a good exercise and what's a bad exercise to, well, what are you doing that exercise instead of, or what could that exercise be better than? And that's the way I sort of analyse things in my head now, rather than look at them like point blank, what is a good and bad exercise? For example, like, is doing like cable flies a good exercise? Well, like, what is the other options? It could be a good exercise, but if you're doing it in place of bench press, then it's maybe not the best exercise. But instead of waffling on to give you an actual answer, there are definitely exercises I would stay away from in the gym. Stuff like decline bench press, that's just a total waste of time. Any sort of plate moving exercise where you hold the plate rather than a barbell or a dumbbell or a machine, like a plate press here or a plate curl, because you can only use the weight off the plate and the odds are it's going to cut off the range of motion. I'm not a fan of leg press. It can be good if it's done correctly, but it is very rarely done correctly. And on that note, loads of machines are hit or miss, and it really just depends on the actual mechanics of the machine and your mechanics as well and how you fit the machines. And off the top of my head, I can't really think of too many more. Those are the first ones that come to mind. If anything comes back into my mind, I'll just say it and then edit it in the video. When is the next BJJ comp? This weekend coming, I've got IFBB, Dublin, gi and no gi. Now, this is meant to say is Stu, and I still can't work out if I'm allowed to say this word yet without getting like properly cancelled and being quite offensive. So I'm not going to show it or say it, but the answer is yes. Who will win out of Tyson Fury and Usyk, and why? Not that I know much of anything about boxing, but based on their last fights, I'll say Usyk, because Fury looked horrendous against Ngannou, albeit I think it was because he got himself in a lot harder fight than he thought. And yeah, I've never really seen Usyk in all the fights I've watched him in any form of danger, so I'll say Usyk, but I could be 100% wrong about that. How do you adapt PT for older clients? Obviously depends on your definition of older, but from my anecdotal evidence, having coached people upwards of 35, 40, and also being around a mental dad who is 63 and has trained all his life and still trains, and obviously getting bits and pieces of evidence from him and his experience. I'll say the two things that I've noticed with training as you get older is you can't handle as much training volume. So anyone who's a bit older that I work with, I really try to keep the volume as low as possible, and as long as that's enough to see progress, then I don't kind of look to try and add to it. Whereas if I'm working with somebody a little bit younger, when you get to a certain point with volume, I still try and increase it that little bit, just because more can definitely be better. But with older clients, keep the volume as low as possible because you're not going to have the same sort of recoverability as you would when you were younger between sessions. So keep the volume slightly on the lower side. Another thing I've noticed as well is probably just the consistency of your progress doesn't go quite as linear as somebody who's younger would. So for example, let's just say you're working to get 5 reps at 100 kilos on bench press. Somebody who's younger would probably get to that 5 kilos pretty straightforward, going from like 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 pretty much week on week. Whereas the sort of older guys, it would maybe be they get 1, then they get 2, then they kind of stay at 2. Then the next week they get 3, then they maybe get 4, and then it maybe takes them a few attempts to get 5. And yeah, that's just what I've noticed. It doesn't necessarily mean that you can't make progress as you get older. It just means that it's probably going to take a little bit longer and by proxy a little bit harder to come by. And lastly, do you get annoyed by that TV advert that implies the curtain hairstyle is out of fashion? Well, first of all, I don't watch TV, and the rare occasion I do watch TV, it's something football related. This is probably quite ironic because I've got my hat on today, because my hair is like a really more of a shambles than it normally is, but I don't follow trends, trends follow me. So TV can say whatever it wants if it's out of fashion or in fashion, but I'll be the one setting the fashion. And if I want curtains to be in, curtains will be in. I'll probably put this up again at some point, but it's probably done me a favour today that there's not too many questions being asked, because I've taken a break from working on the BMF programme, which goes live on the 6th of May. The priority list is open now for the spaces opening on the 29th of April, and then you've got a week to get signed up and secure your place on the programme. It's going to be absolutely unbelievable. The best value from any group coaching out there. You're going to be coached by me for 8 weeks for only £69, and that figure wasn't a mistake. Not even £9 a week is absolutely dirt cheap. You're going to get the training programme of your life, the easiest nutrition plan to follow in the world, and it's all going to be adjustable and customised to what you need it to be. You can put a hell of a lot of work on it, and that's what I'm going to be to go and do back now after I get this edited. So the link for that is in the description below, as is websites, coaching inquiry form. Sign up to the email list if you want. I've got so much stuff in there now, I actually forget what it is. But sign up to the email list. I'll leave it on that, because you're going to get another bit of free entertainment every week, just in word form. So sign up to that if you want, and you'll also be the first to hear about any sort of exclusive deals or any little secrets that I've got going on. That's all from me, and I will catch yous all in the next one.